Steven just said people want to see what the Mizelles are up to.
I think y'all tune in because y'all like to hear about what we got going on.
And want to make you feel normal.
Make them feel normal or us feel normal?
Them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
That's what happened yesterday when we were at the zoo. I told my friend, I was like, you just like to be around us because it makes you feel like your life is more normal. She goes, yep, a little bit. And I was like, there's always Briggs to bring us back
There's
to reality.
always Briggs, Adele. Great little show for you today. Just tune in and check us out.
What hill are you going to die on?
Perfect. Welcome to the Mizelle Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizelle, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizelle, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizelle Show.
Right now. Yo, it's the Mizelle Show, and we are here in the building.
I thought you were going to keep singing.
No, I'm not going to keep singing. Usually you're the one singing, but I just hit
I know. Well, you just clicked record, and I wasn't mentally prepared.
Yeah, you know that.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
You don't know, now you know.
Let me take a sip of my drink.
Beverage Alanna. Always got to have a beverage on the podcast.
Drink of choice today
is water. Oh, no, you're actually drinking.
No, it's a Mandarin
something from Pantry Market.
AKA Target.
AKA Target.
And our dog is drinking from her water bowl, which I feel like you can probably hear in the background because of the sound thing.
Well, on the Mizelle Show, we try to keep it PC, so we don't, call people's names out, but occasionally...
But also... Keep it real.
We do keep it real. So occasionally in these budget-friendly days of the Mizelle Show, we try to go out to eat every once in a while, if it's within our realms.
Yes.
And
so we are not by nature budget people.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'm sure you could hear that kind of throughout what we've talked about. Do these people budget at all? We're it's not our instinct. So we have to try really hard to budget.
We have to really try. We really try to do it and have deeper conversations about it. But this past Saturday, we decided to go to the zoo with a friend, and it was great. The zoo, the weather,
so good.
It was beautiful.
Caught it before it got too hot,
and too crowded. It was great.
Yeah.
So on the way home, we had this massive dilemma: where should we go grab a quick lunch?
Well, we had a plan to go one place, but we forgot the coupon at home.
We forgot the coupon.
If anybody has seen Ron White, and if you haven't, you need to go Google it after this. He says, coupon.
We forgot the coupon in all of the 97,000 things we had to get out of the house for
right,
the
because
zoo.
taking two extra small children out to the zoo is, good Lord.
And Alanna thought we were over the stroller, but we soon realized that
But I've taken Briggs without the stroller multiple times.
I guess just feels how he's feeling.
It's because he was so tired.
He was tired, and also our friend that went, they were so enthralled with him. He's a little one, a cutie, and they were just, I'm like, he could have came over to the house.
Right, what are we doing outside?
At the zoo.
At the zoo. I mean, I love the zoo personally, but y'all are ruining it.
And his mom loved it, but, at the end of the day.
Oh, for sure. But I'm like, good Lord, we could have done this differently. But so then we end the zoo. We hadn't gone grocery shopping for the week, and our fridge looks like nobody lives here by the end of the week.
And I think that's a good thing. At the end of the week, our fridge is empty. We don't have the Costco fridge. Now, with nowadays, I don't know if Costco is even the move with inflation and price increases, but sometimes you can buy things in bulk, but we're not able to buy things in bulk. We buy things. Space. Yeah, we buy things for the week. And so the fridge was empty, and we'd already said, hey, let's just grab a quick lunch on the way back. Budgeted out. Forgot the coupon. And we went to another restaurant.
We did.
This other restaurant.
Similar. We wanted Mexican because our kid, because it's typically cost effective for us. We pretty much eat the same thing when we go, when we know what our kids want, and they will eat it. Even if they've had it 3 times that week, they're going to eat it.
They're going to eat it.
So we go to a different restaurant, which is the least expensive Mexican restaurant in Memphis.
And it's a staple. And we know of.
That we know there may be some others, but it is a very well-known Mexican place here in Memphis.
And it's a staple, and we were like, hey.
Y'all like $4 burritos.
Well, it was.
It was.
And so
we sit down. I was like, oh, new menu. Right when I thought they just updated their menu. They used to have a paper trifold menu.
Yes.
And then they got a flat menu that was like cardstock. And now they are laminated in typical bright colors, like very Mexican culture.
Yes. And I first saw the menu. I was excited. I was like, man, they're stepping their game up. Kudos to them. And then I saw the new prices. And I'm like,
y'all, they changed the prices on the burrito. On everything on the burrito, everything. And now they're charging for chip refills. And they won't give you chips and salsa if you're not ordering something else.
Yeah.
So like even if you go to order drinks like a margarita or whatever, they're not going to give you chips and salsa unless you're ordering food. It says with entree. Oh, excuse me?
Yes. So that was like, okay, I respect you guys.
I don't know about you guys, but my family eats a solid 6 baskets of chips every time we go.
Well, not anymore. We saw that no chip refill.
And we were like portion them.
And so we usually get a cheese dip, but the cheese dip price went up.
By $2.
$2. So, but sometimes you go out, you just go with your gut. You're like, you know what, I'm going to stick with it. But they had a new menu item.
Yeah. They added fish to their menu.
Added some fish.
And we don't eat chicken and beef.
No, yeah.
Or pork. We eat fish. And so for us, we were like, oh my gosh, amazing. And
they
love most places.
Shrimp fajitas.
Most places we love to get fajitas like on that sizzling
little pan thing, yeah.
That's what it sounds like when it comes out.
Yes.
And it smells delish.
And it's like more than enough food for 2 people.
More than enough food for 2 people. So we usually split that after we've had our 6 baskets of chips.
Yeah. And I looked at Alanna.
Y'all.
I looked at Alanna. I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Let's try it." I'm like, I just want to get my big burrito.
And it wasn't crazy priced. I mean, it was
more than we were expecting.
It was more than usual.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like outrageous.
Which should have been a red flag.
Right. It wasn't that. It was a little bit less than the typical fajita package at a different location.
Yes. Yeah.
So then it comes out, and it is probably 6 small
6 pieces of shrimp.
Small shrimp.
Yes.
Not on a sizzler. On a plate.
It was like some mixed vegetables with cheese and shrimp on top of it.
Then I take a bite of an onion.
Yes.
And it tastes like meat.
Yes. So
straight up meat.
People that are not familiar with the vegetarian or pescatarian to call it, so I've never eaten meat before in my life. I've never had steak,
and y'all,
chicken.
that's how he was raised.
That's how I was raised.
Everybody goes, wait, what?
Yes, you're a black man living in Memphis and never had wings? No, I have not.
Never had chicken wings. You've had different kinds of wings.
Oh yeah, but
never
not like chicken wings.
Quintessential hot wings.
Hot wings. Never had hot wing. Never had bacon. Never had steak.
Fun fact, I craved them for both pregnancies, hot wings.
You did want hot wings.
Both of them.
And so with that being said, I'm sensitive to it because I've never eaten it before. So at this particular restaurant, about 2 or 3 years ago, I would order a vegetarian burrito because it has veggies in it. It'll be good and healthy. But after the the first time I had the vegetarian burrito, I was like, dude, it didn't sit right. Sit.
And then it happened again the second time.
And then Alanna, with all her infinite wisdom, she said, I bet you they cook the veggies on the same
burner. Grill.
Yeah, grill. Then they're meat.
How they have the big grillers with the big metal
things
thingamajigs
that you like.
Yeah, it makes the bang noise.
Yeah.
That's
what it
does.
You scrub it down supposedly. But
yeah.
So for Steven, because he's never had meat before, even having it touch it.
They cooked it pretty much.
Right. Yeah. But even chicken broth, which isn't actually eating chicken, you cannot do.
No.
So the fact that a pan, and even at our house, if I make chicken for the kids, because our kids eat chicken, if I make chicken for the kids in a pan, Steven cannot go behind me and eat from that pan, even though it's just one time I've cooked chicken in it.
Yeah.
So think about this pan where we were at the Mexican restaurant that has had how much meat cooked on it?
All day.
And probably some meat right next to it cooked on it. So we were told that it had gotten cleaned. Let me tell you something, y'all. All that means is they took their little silver thing and went
Yeah.
There wasn't soap.
No soap.
There was
no
water. You know, those
so
kinds of things.
Alanna tastes the onion. It's meat. And then I taste a piece of shrimp. Like, okay. I'm like, yes. It just tastes and feels like meat. So we call our server over. It's like, hey, is the shrimp and the, fajitas cooked?
It was on us that we didn't ask on the front end.
Yeah.
Valid. And typically we do. And we went out on a limb.
Yep.
With the new menu.
Yes. And we asked her, and she actually fessed up. She said yes. And I was like, well, I'm a vegetarian, and I am like, I can't do it. So long story short, time to check out. We thought they were going to take it off. They didn't take it off.
The most expensive thing that was on there. Most expensive
thing on the menu. And so then I go to the manager. The manager is like guns blazing, already ready to tell me no.
And tells us that it gets
cleaned. And tells
cleaned.
me, no, it gets cleaned. I'm sorry, but you have to pay this fee for this. And I was like, ma'am, like, I frequent this restaurant a lot. I am just telling you that, I would have been sick. She said, I don't care. Pretty much said, I don't care. You're going to pay me. And I thought to myself, you are literally choosing to die on this hill for this $16. Like, you're not going to help the customer out when they're being polite. They're paying for everything else. And they also, they do a good job of supporting you. And on the flip side of that, we always say big picture. When I walk out of that restaurant as a restaurant owner, you don't know in the day and age of Twitter, social media, Instagram, like, is someone going to go out and go viral over my thing, and then all of a sudden I've lost so much more money?
So here's my thing. Steven could have gotten sick, and wouldn't it have been a worse PR nightmare if you had gotten sick off of their food we then posted about it.
We posted about it.
So then we started talking about, is that the hill you're going to die on?
Yes, as a manager of a restaurant, when most of the time, most customers, like, I think you should budget. All right, you know what? I'm going to budget this many meals a day that I'm going to just chalk up.
Well, and like, I've worked in the restaurant business years ago when I was in high school, and we just knew that. Like, you take the fault. At some point, the customer is just right.
Yes.
And like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. For how much it actually cost you to make that item, it's nominal.
Nominal.
It's nominal. But carry that into, like, your everyday life.
Yes.
So, like, when certain situations arise, and one of the sayings that I've said more so when I was in undergrad and I was president of my sorority, I would always tell myself, is this going to matter in 5 years?
Yeah. So I think it's right. It's many different ways you can say that. Is this the hill that you're gonna die on? Will this matter? You would say in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's something that
and like at work, one of my bosses says, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but essentially, like, we're not selling organs.
Yes.
Like, nobody's going to die if you make a small error.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. And that's something that I say transitioning in my career to my new career move, whatever you want to call it. I have done I'm working hard towards that. My mentor or buddy, friend, colleague, you would call me, he's really coached me up like, yes, there's certain things that you want to do, but sometimes you got to take a step back and just look, do I really want to die on that hill?
Well, and here's the other thing in that. When you're talking about from a work perspective, so both Steve and I come from the nonprofit education world. Mm-hmm. Where,
bleeding heart.
Right. You love what you do. It's the fact that all these people's lives are going to be changed and so on and so forth. But at the same time, you realize at some point that the people that are getting promotions aren't the people that live and die and breathe their organization. It's those that are following exactly what they were told to do, doing it.
Yeah.
And then that's what their review is on. So for me personally, when I look at like the things that I choose to hypothetically die on the hill for, and like expend more energy and push towards, most of the time they're things that aren't on my goals sheet for my manager to review me on. And they're just nice haves.
Yeah.
So like, how many nice haves are you going to end up having? How many nice haves are that specific Mexican restaurant going to lose because they've chosen to die on a hill that wasn't ever on their grade card?
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine.
Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alanna Mizell on Instagram or alannamizell.com to learn more.
And that's something that, you continue to look back and as you go through your cycle of work and life, your hills should change. And I know that for me, I have been able to revisit some of those things in the past. And I'm like, man, was it that necessary?
Yeah.
Like you said, did it matter in 5 years? Because so many times you think that this is the end all be all until you take a step back and be like, all right, I have a roof over my head. My family's happy. I have an income. So is this last thing really worth me doing X, Y, Z?
Here's the other thing that I learned actually this week. I had a really hard conversation with my manager that, full transparency, I handled awful. Just awful. Not the whole conversation, but I can tend to get very defensive for a number of reasons. Come from a nonprofit world. That's how I was raised, blah, blah, blah. No excuses. Yeah. At the end of the day, 5 years from now, is what I talked to her about really going to matter?
Yeah.
No. And I think the other thing, when you're faced with a confrontation or kind of like a quick-witted scenario where you feel the need to like puff your chest and get defensive, I feel like one of the things that I learned this past Friday is to almost take a step back and play your own devil's advocate of saying, okay, what was this person's intention? So what was her actual intention? Not how did I take it?
Yeah.
What was the intention?
Yes.
So somebody can make you feel disrespected. But if you know them well enough, was that their intention?
Yeah.
And I would bet more times than not the answer is no.
True.
So was it our intention at the Mexican restaurant
to get a free meal?
To get a free meal?
No.
Like, was that the only thing we paid for?
No.
No. Did we order more food after that order came out and it was wrong?
And they charged us for it too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We still ordered more food.
Yeah.
We didn't just leave.
Yeah.
And throw a fit. Nobody knew in that restaurant that was wrong.
Yep.
That had happened. So, like, what was our intention as the customer? But also, what was my manager's intention in that challenging situation? And then the other part, that as I've had, 2 more days to reflect on it, what was going on in my life? And Steven and I actually say this a lot. You don't actually know what's happening in somebody else's life.
Yes.
And I think so much in work when you're so closely connected with somebody.
Yeah.
So I work 40 plus hours next to this person. We are around each other a lot, y'all. We are doing some pretty big changing things.
Yeah.
Where I work. And the other thing is that I really don't like to bring my personal life into my work.
Yeah.
Those are 2 separate things. But after I had 2 more days to reflect on it, the reality was and I didn't share this with my boss on Monday. On Monday, I dropped my kids off for the first time for summer camp. First time Briggs has ever been dropped off in summer camp for 3 years.
Yeah.
He's 3 years old, 3.5 years old, never been dropped off for summer camp by me.
Yeah.
Never. And because I've always been with him.
Yeah.
And then for 2020 and 2021-ish, I had them.
Yes.
So all of 2020, almost, 3 months in, I had both of them.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Loved every second of it. Loved it. Now, was it hard? Yes. Then you go into the 2021 school year, and I had Briggs on Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
And then had Adele whenever I felt like it. Like I could go grab her, no big deal.
Yeah.
This year she's in kindergarten. She's got real school. Got to attend class, yada, yada. Briggs is an animal. He needs to be at school 5 days a week. But when it comes to summertime, it's like I have the option to have them.
Yeah.
But this is the first year that I don't have the option to have them. And that's a subconscious thing that I don't think I was verbalizing to other people as hard. I thought Monday was hard. Tuesday was real hard. But then I just thought I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I'm over it. And what I realized through that conversation with my manager after it went not the way I thought it was going to is that subconsciously what the real problem was, that any little thing that made me feel disrespected or any little thing that made me feel like my work was being questioned or that made me feel not her intention, not his intention, nobody else's intention, but it was almost like the hill I was going to die on was that my feelings got hurt because of them. Because to admit that my feelings were already hurt before anybody said anything, because I couldn't be with my kids, was too much for me to handle. So the real reason that I got so upset and was so sensitive this week was because my kids were at summer camp and I didn't have them.
Yeah.
And so every scenario, everything could have gone crystal clear at work. And something was going to happen. Because that wasn't the problem.
Wasn't the problem, yeah.
And so many times when you're trying to step back on the hill that somebody else is going to die on, and this has happened to us quite a few times with like racial tension things or people calling my kids crazy things. There's been a few times that I've reached out to the person via, social media, because nobody would say that in real life, and just said, I'm really sorry for whoever hurt you and made you feel that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not me. Mm-hmm. It's not my kids that's a problem.
And it's always a root issue. It's always a root thing that it's coming from somewhere.
Right.
But we as society and humanity have been trained so much to not dig in.
Right.
And I think it kind of goes back to a sermon we heard last Sunday from our preacher.
Yes.
And he hit us with something that was very important. He said, you look over the historical data, we're going to call it the Bible. Jesus only said a few statements, but he asked a lot of questions.
I can't remember what it is, and there's actually a book on it.
Yes, there's a book on it. It's actually
on all the questions that Christ asked, and there's very few times. It was something like 3 times. It was very few times that he actually responds to a question.
Yeah,
just responds.
Yes.
But what he actually does is answer a question with a question.
It makes you think. But like you said, with your situation, it would take someone to be deeper to ask the question. It also goes back to me in the Mexican restaurant. I didn't simply ask her, ma'am, why can you not refund me this money? As a paying customer, why can you not reevaluate how this is making me sick? And make them,
And so hindsight,
yes.
if you think about probably the situation, like playing devil's advocate, I'm just a third party, wasn't in the scenario. We now know that they are charging for extra refill bags of chips. They've had to up the cost of their items. And we know from the world perspective that there's an inflation issue.
Yeah.
So we sat down and Steven said, inflation finally hit name of the restaurant. Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, what probably happened is there's been so many times that people have complained one way or the other that she's to the point where she has no energy left for those that have complained. How many people do you think yesterday and maybe the day before complained about the fact that there was a refill cost now on the chips? Yeah. And just asked for refills without realizing it.
And then they got charged and then they
asked for it to be taken off.
Yeah.
Does that make it okay? No.
But it helps us and hopefully our listeners to think through and be more intentional and ask the questions. And when you're looking at that person, like, if they're going to die on that hill, ask the question why, or ask the question in-depthly. Because like you said, me and Alanna, a lot of times we say, what is really going on at home? What is really going on? Like, this can't be the real reason why you're feeling this way.
But that also, so for me, for my situation that happened on Friday, that doesn't make it an excuse, and it doesn't make my behavior or my response okay.
No, I agree with that.
And that's in everything, y'all. So if a heated situation arises, just because you can see somebody's other side. When somebody comments on one of my kids' pictures on Instagram, which mind you, I am no longer posting them on Instagram, so that's kind of irrelevant. But back when I was posting them on Instagram, if somebody were to say something about my kids, and I message them and say, I'm so sorry that somebody has hurt you in such a way that you feel like you need to target my children. And then I ask them what happens, and they don't respond. That still doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
Even if they were to respond and kind of tell me, a
story
their dad was blah, 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 blah. A great book by Jodi Picoult. It's called Small Great Things. And it's a book about
That's a good one.
A black woman who's a nurse who treats a white supremacist baby. And I'm just going to tell you that. But the way that Jodi Picoult writes is she writes on very strong issues, but tells you both sides of the story to where it is like this scenario. It doesn't make it okay,
but it makes you realize that everybody is going through something.
Yes.
But it's up to you to determine which hill you're going to die on.
Yeah.
Which hill are you going to say, this one matters, and I'm not going to go back and apologize for my actions?
Yeah.
To me, I don't know what hill I would die on.
I mean, I think you would die on the hill for your family. I mean, I think if something came to...
I do too, but at what excuse? So, like, if something happened to my family, absolutely tragic happened to my family.
Yeah.
Say one of my kids got hit by a drunk driver. That would be absolutely tragic.
Yes.
Would that be a hill that I would die on against that person? I don't know. I've never been through it, but like, why was that person drunk driving?
Yeah.
What is better in that scenario? Or what will actually allow me to cope? Dying on the hill for that drunk driver, or going around and spreading more awareness about drunk driving?
Yeah.
And telling that story so that it happens less.
That's true.
So it's like deciding which route you're going to take. Mm-hmm. Which one is going to matter 5 years from now? Either I stay at home angry at the original drunk driver who hurt my child, hurt my family, or 5 years from now I've made such an impact that there are less people that choose to drunk drive.
Yeah, but I think also subconsciously you went through this week and you had a rough week with dropping kids out. But you were able to already have things planned out this weekend in which they had a phenomenal weekend with us at church, the zoo, had a little movie night. And so I think, it goes back to you struggled this week, but you also have put forth the effort to help build memories. Yeah. And enjoy it.
Yeah. So here's what I've kind of learned from a work perspective is, one, I'm getting better at leaving it at work. Mm-hmm. Two, although I don't like to share my personal life, sometimes it's simple as conversation of, hey, just so you know, my kid's first week of summer camp is this week. I'm having a hard time. That's it.
That's it.
If she asks more questions, I'm really not comfortable answering those right now. I just wanted you to be aware.
Yeah.
That's it. No boss is going to take offense to that.
No.
It's more like, got it? Okay. She's more sensitive this week. I got it. Maybe don't put her in challenging conversations. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be best for anybody.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe don't ask her to stay late this week.
Yeah.
Don't do that because I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Those type things. And like it also allows for a self-reflection of how much worth and value am I putting into what I do at work. Because it's separating me from where my worth and value actually is, which is at home.
Yeah.
And at the same time, how much of my worth and value is being put into 2 kids and my husband and my home versus the way that the Heavenly Father has called me to be. Because my worth and value didn't come once I got married in 2013 or when I had Adele in 2016.
That's how long we've been married? 2013?
Yeah. Since 2013.
Bro.
But my worth and value didn't come in 2013.
No.
It didn't come when I met you in 2010.
Yeah, a little bit, No. Yes, I know what you're saying.
This guy.
And yes, I get it.
But like it also didn't come when the first child came. It didn't come when the second child came. Although I think a lot of people think that it's going to change if you have a kid. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden your worth and your reason for existing is going to be here.
Save that for
That's
our next
another whole
episode.
topic for another day.
Yes.
But same thing for the person that chose to not refund the amount of money for the meal that we couldn't eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, are we really going to die on that hill? Is that really what your worth and value is? Did you get so frustrated at a customer because they asked for their money back on a meal that they couldn't eat that you're realizing that you're putting so much worth in that meal and that's not how God made you at all?
Yeah, and you're not putting that worth in the relationship and the future relationships that could come from you looking at that particular...
Right, and verse saying, you know what, sir? I'm so sorry. Maybe that's something that we can look into in the future. Right now, the way that our business is, I really can't give you that back.
Boom. Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom, we come back. We'd love to help you with that. There actually is a restaurant here in Memphis, Bedrock Eats, that we go to all the time. Yeah. And we asked them if they were going to put vegan things on their menu. And they asked us questions about things that we would like to see on their menu and explained to us why there isn't vegan things.
Oh, yes.
And now there is,
yes,
y'all.
She hit us
But she explained to us, supply chain's really hard. They like to locally farm raise.
And she's a chemist, so she wants to make sure the compound of the vegan stuff was actually
is real food
yes.
and not just whatever.
Yeah.
And so all of those things, like that's what we're talking about. We didn't get angry that shouldn't have vegan options.
No.
We ate the other things because they're delicious.
Yeah.
But how much better is that to bring in that customer
and bring in the
say,
relationship?
Tell me more about what you'd be looking for.
Yeah.
As I try to figure out what I'm good at, tell me what you are wanting.
And I'm also going to explain to you why I can't do it right now.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe the same way at the other Mexican restaurant. Yeah. Maybe that's what I needed to do, and what I need to do tomorrow when I go and talk to my manager is say, this is not an excuse for what happened last week, but this is what I do want you to know.
Yeah. I think that is spot on, and I think it's something that as we continue to grow through these conversations, that we grow through our life situations. And we appreciate you guys always tuning in and listening to the Mizell Show. Got some good things coming up in the future on our show, so stay tuned in.
I know, you guys, we've been rattling off ideas. It's been so fun. It's been fun. So check it out. So if you guys are enjoying this, definitely leave us a review. Give us the feedback. If there's something you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us on our website at themizellshow.com. There is a contact section. You can put it in there. We would love to hear about it. Or you can always go over to Instagram at The Mizell Show. Also, as always, don't forget to screenshot this episode and just add it to your stories and tag us on Instagram, on Facebook at The Mizell Show. Thanks, guys. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram at The Mizell Show.